Aloha, it's Jacob Pompeo, and I'm making this video directly in response to a question I have from one of our viewers. And the question was something along the lines of wanting to know more about what to do in a survival situation if you are in the city. And the city survival is mostly about psychology, and it comes down to, first off, your mental state. You have to be able to be above all of your surroundings mentally, and then the psychology of the people that you're interfacing with on the streets. You're going to have to interpret what they want, because everyone on the streets is usually going to have some reason for interacting with you, especially if you're homeless and if they're homeless as well. The streets are pretty much just like nature, except for instead of running into tigers and bears, you run into people who could be a tiger or a bear at a moment's notice. Um, a lot of people will have very cunning ways of deceiving you on the streets in the city. So, honestly, the best thing to do, if you can help it, is to try to be as self-reliant as possible when you're in a city sphere. 99% of everyone you run into is going to drag you down, feed you negative energy. They're going to drain your energy, and they're probably going to put you into bad situations that are maybe criminal. They might be criminals themselves, and you want to stay mentally yourself above having to become a thief or anything of a criminal nature. So to find food, you're going to want to go to food banks, and you want to also try not to have to beg on the streets, because it's a very unproductive, unbecoming, mentally draining task that doesn't help further you out of your situation, really. It only band-aids your situation for a little while. The food and the resources that they have at food banks are very helpful. Look into everything that they can offer. They can provide showers and possibly even rooms for short periods of time at hotels for you if you're out in the cold, like out here behind me. It's all snowing. Uh, Also, if you're in the cold, one thing you can do is collect a bunch of newspapers, and you take them one page at a time and crumple them up into a long, crumpled piece of paper, like a hot dog crumpled style. And then you tuck in the bottom of your shirt and you line your clothes with as many newspapers as you can, and that will help insulate you and keep a lot of heat in if you're having to sleep outside in the weather like this and you're not able to start a fire. It's very hard to start fires in city areas. It's even hard to start fires to keep warm in urban, country, rural areas, because in a lot of places it's illegal and smoke draws a lot of attention. So you're going to want to rely on alternative heat sources that don't draw in attention, because you don't want to be robbed by other homeless people, and you also don't want to be arrested by the authorities for trespassing on woodland property or starting fires on private property or national forest lands or wherever you may be. And water. So to find water in a city area is a lot harder. Most of the water is going to be from the tap, which is at least legally clean. So you can always try to drink out of getting a water bottle and going to gas stations, filling them up at the sink or at spigots on the sides of buildings. Um, the smart thing to do would be to have a water filter with you. One thing I travel with is my water filter. Yeah, I purchased what is called a Big Berkey. That's the company name. They make fantastic water filters. You can filter stagnant pond water into drinkable water, urine, probably anything liquid can go through this filter and come out the other end as usable, palatable water. And that's one of the few things I travel with. You also want to have a good place for shelter. So if you're sleeping in an urban environment, what you may have to do is actually find a group or groups of homeless people that sleep in places. Those areas are going to generally be dangerous. However, they're also secure in the fact that you can sleep in a very public place for a short amount of time to catch up on your rest before you got to go somewhere. Whenever you find a shelter, you're going to generally want it to be more secluded, something that isn't very easily visible, something you can come and go to and from without people noticing you. So normally thickets of woods on the outskirts of a city environment is what I would go to, because generally it's unowned, you're not trespassing, people can't see you, they're not going to be bothered by you, and you're most likely not going to run into someone else who's desperate. Desperate people will do desperate things, so if you encounter someone who is desperate, be very cautious. If you're in a situation where someone pulls a knife on you, or a gun, or any type of weapon, the best thing you can do, well, number one, if you can run away and you see an opportunity to get the heck out of there, do it. However, if you're just stuck there and it's you and that weapon and that person, and there's no one around to help you, and there's nowhere to run away to, that they won't be able, that they will catch you, or, you know, then what you need to do is try to talk your way out of the situation. And it's going to be hard. It was very hard, the numerous encounters I've had of this type. However, it's much better than any alternative. Be prepared to strike first in case things escalate, but always try to de-escalate. There's always a chance. I've gone out of being held at knife point by a guy. I've been cornered by two men in the woods before who were very aggressive, and I was able to talk my way out of both those situations. The guy had the knife held against my chest in the streets of Louisiana, New Orleans. But yeah, just play it by ear. You have to really go off of whatever cues that they are giving you when it comes to talking them down. But always have awareness of your surroundings. So if they do try to escalate things, then you can maybe grab a stick or even a handful of dirt to throw at their eyes to defend yourself, or give you enough time to get away to get a weapon, or to get away in general. So hope you all enjoy. That's my urban survival video that I have made in response to some of your comments online. Please continue to follow us and donate at pci.farm.